So, okay, we're going to get into goal setting. So I guess a lot of what was said towards the back end of the section before with the pillars started to allude towards needing a plan in place. Now, this is a pretty heavy session, there's a lot that will come into this. So what we're going to do, try and move through it relatively quickly. How long have we got on this, Beth?
You have an hour.
An hour, okay, cool. So it's plenty of time, but there's a lot in the booklet. So try and get through it relatively quickly because there's a lot of pages. But the idea of this, as I said before, like if you don't manage to put into Google Maps where it is that you're going, it doesn't know where to take you. And what we find is that quite a lot of the time, a lot of the things that we say that we want also aren't the things that we want. And what this process will do here is give you clarification of what it is that you want overall, but also, and importantly, what it is that's important to you. You know, to go back to what we said right at the end there, and Tracy said about it, and the lad said about it too, there's some things that really aren't important to you, that you may be giving some mental energy to, that energy that you put in, you can't get back. Energy thinking about stuff that you think that you want to do that really isn't important to your life is, it's a mental strain. So it's really important that we know what we want to focus ourselves on, and from the 80-20 rule, 80% of the good stuff comes from 20% of your efforts. And 80% of your stress will come from 20% of the things in your life. So what we need to know is from an association and a dissociation point of view. We had this before, someone said about people. Was it you who said about people? The association and dissociation is not just who we spend our time with, where we spend our time, but also what we spend our time on and thinking about. Such an important thing is to know. Because once we know, and once we've got it on paper, the paper doesn't lie. And there's some numbers that will help you to get to that as we go through this, so really important. So, let's start to jump into it. I love this. Setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. Okay, that's massive. I'll leave that for a second if anyone wants to take pictures of it. Setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. A goal is a dream with a timeline or a deadline. And really important, there's a big difference between goals and dreams, and quite commonly I think people get them mixed up. People call people dreamers. There's dreamers and there's doers. And what this is all about is turning you into a doer, so that you don't talk about your goals, you take action on them. You be the person who is that person. Who am I going to be? Am I going to be the person who is healthy? Am I going to be the person who's successful? Am I going to be the person who works hard, has great relationships? So it's really important that we start to bring these things to life. So, out with your booklets. Okay, so power of goal setting. So this is where the magic starts for me. Once we know where we're going, we can put a plan in place, we can start to take action. So right here, this is where it all starts. This is the foundation of everything. So, right, so we're on to the booklet. So basically get onto the first page, goal setting, step 1. So we're back to the pillars of life again. Easiest place to start is there. So basically what we want to do, you can see it's mapped out on the page, is just start to put some goals in place for these timescales. Now again, don't labour on it too much. Your brain will tell you what you want. Whatever comes up, write it down, okay? This is like a brain dump. What you want to achieve in a month. So this is what stuff you're going to start to do straight away, basically. What you want to achieve in a month, what you'd love to have achieved in your life in 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, for each pillar. Okay, you can put loads of stuff down if you want. This isn't limited. So just get everything out onto here. This is your blueprint. This is your life blueprint. This is what I want to achieve. But once we've got the blueprint, we can start to build the house, right? And go. How long have we got going on this bit, Beth, each section?
15 minutes.
Okay, cool. 15 minutes on it. There's quite a few, so just let me know when you've finished the step 1. I need to just share something quite interesting there that, do you mind me just sharing it? Okay. She was stuck a little bit on relationships, and she said it's probably not important. And I said, well, the reason that you're stuck on it is probably, the reason there's nothing there is probably because it is important. And we just had a chat about it. And relationships is family, it's your kids, it's your friends, whatever. But she immediately went to, I don't have a partner and I'm not looking for one, which is interesting. So we had a quick chat and got to the point where she said, well, I don't want someone, I don't want to babysit someone, I don't want to blah blah blah. So it's bringing the past into the now, right? This guy that I got rid of, I don't want another one of them. And while we're in the negative of what you don't want, that's what you will get. So therefore, what we do is, because that's what you get, you then go, well, I don't want that, and I'm going to shut myself off to it. So if you believe in manifestation, that kind of stuff, you've got to stay in the positive. So what I just said to Anita there is, well, what you need to do is write that down. That I don't want the positive. I want a man who is on the same kind of journey as me. I want a man who is similar age to me. I want a man who will take me out to dinner. Not necessarily pay. But you might go, who will just facilitate me going to dinner. I want a man who will take me out and we will dance, or whatever it be, and go, well, this is what I want. Because then the universe knows what you want, and at least you open the door. As opposed to going, well, most men are this. It doesn't matter if most men are that, because what we're looking for is this. But we've got to know what we're looking for in order for the universe to allow it in. And a lot of the reasons why we don't want is sometimes we get into the more of the emotional side of the fear of failure and sabotage and all that kind of stuff. But from a very simple context, we've got to at least know what we want, order it, then we can open the doors to let it in. But the key thing is, in the first place, is to know what you want and put that order out there, like Oprah said. Put the order out there and let it go, and the universe will take care of the rest. I just remember what I was speaking about with Monica. It was that Monica was saying that there's some things that she'd like, but she doesn't know when she'd do them, or if they're going to come anytime soon, or if they're really important right now. And the key thing is no matter if you don't judge anything that comes up at all. Whether you're going to do it now, whether it's going to take you a year, whether you think you could never do it, it doesn't matter. Just whatever you think, get it down. Because until you've got it down, like it's setting that intention. Some of this isn't that you're going to do anything with it immediately, but it's setting that intention. Once you talk about it, there's a chance that you can do it. And what happens is, once you've set an intention and something's in the mix, the more you start to talk about it, the more you start to, it's like, you talk about people believing their own lies, or you talk about faking it till you make it. The more you talk about something, you're charging, it's like manifestation or affirmation. The more you say something, if you say I'm beautiful, I'm worthy, strong affirmations, eventually your brain will start to believe it. When you start to talk about something and you throw it into the air that it's possible, the more you talk about it, the more your brain subconsciously starts to figure out how you can do it. So the first step to it is not even believing that you can do it or you're going to do it, or when you're going to do it. The key thing is to just start talking about it. And the more that you talk about it, and the more that you think about it, the likelihood is it's going to happen, or at least more likely to. That lifestyle by laptop, I spoke about it for 2 years before we actually did anything, and there's people who knew me back then before we were doing anything with it. So it's really important, just put anything and everything down. Another thing from the wealth perspective, just to plant a seed there, is to start to know and have that intention as well about the money that you need. We were just talking about this at the back with Sue, and I think a lot of us probably don't know what we actually need just to be at zero, just to live, like just to survive. A lot of us probably don't know fully what our budget is, cash in, cash out, expenditures, yearly expenditures, insurances, all this kind of stuff that goes into the mix. So, something that I would, even if you don't fully do it today, set an intention to sit down for a couple of days at some point and fully look at your expenses so that you know from a financial point of view, what does life actually cost me? That first category, does money make you happy? What's your 65 to 70 grand? And then what would be your 100 grand? Because you may be okay at 50k. Some people may have a resting baseline of $100,000 just to sort of survive given your current expenditures and liabilities. So something to have a little look at to maybe put on your wealth side is just to have a bit of a financial audit of yourself at some point, which may be a bit scary. Most people don't want to open up that box, right? Because it's like, oh God, if I open this up, I'm going to realise I'm in a pretty shit situation. But until you do it, you can't make some changes. Most of us probably spend way too much.
Making me tired again. Good luck.
Yeah, John has got a really good thing that he identifies when he gets the sort of tired, lethargic, kind of foggy feeling that's like his blockages coming in. So like talking about that, some of you may have had a tired feeling or anxiety rising or something like that. They're the indicators of when something's important. You've got to read those body clues because that is your body talking to you. When you might feel a bit hot, you might feel a bit uncomfortable, you might feel a bit tired, you might feel a bit like, oh, too much. That's like your body saying, hang on, this is important. You've got a monkey mind playing tricks on you, trying to get you to avoid.
Yeah, I'm sort of like half.
If you're not kind of up to the next bit as yet, we just need to pick the pace up a bit. We've got about 10-ish more minutes. Just keep going now. I'm coming to it. So those of you that are up to step 3, this is the power bit. This is where it all starts to come together.
Okay.
So step 3 and step 4. So basically what we're starting to do is put some priorities to these things. So whip back through the goals that you had, that you put down, and pick the top couple from each section and put it down, okay? So we're just starting to prioritise them. So look at them and go, right, out of these, which are most important to me? And get them down. And basically you're doing that for each section. And then for step 4, you're filtering them down again. So we're just starting to look at, the top couple that you've done in step 3, pick the top ones for step 4. Yeah, so you might have gone, like, from for a health perspective, you might have gone, I want to eat 5 meals a week which are vegan. I want to put on I want to be 90 kilos, not put on 90 kilos. They're like Arnie, you might want to, if like Tracy's just made you feel skinny, body dysmorphia over there. Tracy, let's all go to Tracy when you want to feel good. The queen of crushing your hopes and dreams. You might go, I want to run 4 times a week. I want to make sure that I'm having a smoothie in the morning. There's all these things that you might have said. Some of them are possible, some of them are not possible. Some of them are really solid goals. Other of them are things you can just do. So it's like, what things do you want to do? And the key thing is that when you've done, you might knock off some of your goals quite quickly and be able to bring more ones in. But the key thing is we get to the point where we're going, right, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
So it all depends. Everyone might have written different stuff down. You may go, like when I was speaking with Monica then, she said she wants more cash, but she also wants to have a house of her own. So you look and go, those two things may not live together. It's okay to want them both, but they may not live together. So you might have to go, well, I want to have more cash in my pocket. That isn't going to live with me owning a house, so which do I want? And for you to be able to go, well, do you know what, you might go, I really want a house, so okay, well, I'm on the rice and bean diet. Or you might go, do you know what, I want a bit more cash in my pocket, and you go, well, a house is going to have to wait. I can only do so many things, and then you've got it off your plate, haven't you? It's one stress if you go, well, you know, I'm too busy to go to the gym because I'm building my business, for instance, or you know, I'm having trouble with my child, or whatever it might be. You can look and just go, well, I've got a child that's got problems that I have to spend time on.
Yes.
The gym is out. Stop thinking about it. Just write it off and just go, well, it's there. I want to do it, but it just doesn't currently fit into the balance of my life. Does that make sense? So that's what you want to do. Just break them down. Just get the things that are important to you for step 3. Filter them down a bit more for step 4. And then when we get to step 5, basically bring all the most important ones in from all of the categories to here, and you might have a couple of each and all that kind of stuff. And then basically what we're then going to do is pick our top 10. Finish that off. And this stuff that you've done there, like, you want to be trying to do it, you know, once a month, once a quarter, at least, you know, once a year. But these are the kind of things that you can do it regularly, because as I was saying to Monica, like, she said that, oh, if I put it down and I don't achieve it, then it's a failure.
No.
And the key thing is, it's not a failure, because like, you're the only person you've got to please is yourself. And if you don't do it, that's okay. And if you change your mind, that's okay. And I say, you know, you get more than one lump of clay. You know, we're not making Michelangelo's David. You've got one piece of stone. You know, at any point you can put the clay down and you can start to carve a new thing. It's cool, that's a good thing. It's your life, and at any point you can say, hang on, I don't think I like what's happening at the moment, and I'm going to change things. So setting a goal isn't another stick to beat yourself with. Setting a goal is just a direction to go, well, if I head that way, I'm probably heading in the right direction. If along the way you decide, you know, you're not quite on course and you want something else, it's absolutely fine, because, you know, it's your life and you change and the world around you changes based on what your mindset is, and the way you see the world changes. So you may have some people that are in your life, you know, people come in and things come in for a season and a reason. You know, things don't have to be there forever. It's okay, give yourself a break and just, you know, keep setting goals, because at least the more you check in, you know, like on a boat, they check in all the time. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? So they can see if they're on course or off course. And all that you're doing is just checking in. That's it. Cool.